Thank you so much. So we'll go to the third line. I think half of the part only we'll be able to cover today. Um, I'll try to complete it in next 15 to 20 minutes about the third line. I'll try. I always say 10 to 15 minutes and I take more time. So it might take a little bit more time, but we will try to finish as soon as possible. So what was the line where we stopped? Anyone remember? Shiksha Ashtakam first.
Cheto darpanam arjanam bhava mahadavagni
Nirva.
nirvapanam.
Right. So what is the third line? So for the sake of
Anandambudhi.
no.
Shreyah Kairava Chandrika Vidaranam
Tarana. Vidya.
Vidyavatu Jeevanam.
Yes. Okay. So we will take here. Where is Shiksha Ashtakam? Database. Okay, stop sharing. Then go to Google Chrome. Then open. Then go to share. Okay, so this is the third line. Shreyaha Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. So what we will do is we'll talk about Shreyaha Kairava Chandrika Vitavaranam. These 4 words, okay? So everyone has seen these words, Shreyaha Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. So we will talk on these 4 words, what they mean and what they actually wanted to share about the holy name in the Shiksha Ashtakam. So Shreyaha means the opposite word of prayers. So Shreyas means the long-term good. Prayers means the short-term good or short-term pleasure or some enjoyment. Shreya is always about long-term. So that is the meaning of Shreyaha. Kairava is the white lotus. In general, there are some lotus which actually glows or blossoms in sunlight. But this white lotus is actually gets blossom in moonlight. Okay, so what is the moonlight? That is Chandrika. So Chandra means moon and Chandrika means moonlight. So Shreyaha, that means long-term good, and Kairava, that is white lotus, and then Chandrika, that is moonlight, and Vitaranam. Vitaranam means blossoming. So in general, Krishna is everywhere. He is in our heart as Paramatma. He is there in the spiritual world. He is actually everywhere, but we do not perceive him. So he is standing just side by side with the soul, but soul is not turning towards him. That is why it doesn't have experience. So the soul is not experiencing any emotions in relation with Krishna. So when we chant the holy name, what will happen? Just like a lotus, white lotus is getting blossom because of moonlight. Now, when the moonlight is not in connection with this flower, then no matter how much moonlight is there, if some barrier is there, maybe some roof or something is there in between, the moonlight is not reaching the flower, then what will happen? It will not blossom. So because of that, what will happen? It won't have the enough growth. So similarly, we have lot of potential as a soul, and soul has its own fundamental energy that is called as consciousness. So this will be little bit technical, so you have to remember the words. Okay, so soul has an energy, and that fundamental energy is called as consciousness. Okay, just like eyes has the energy to see, similarly soul has the energy that is called as consciousness. So when we're talking about the blossoming, it is not that the soul is blossoming, but it is the consciousness that is blossoming. That means consciousness has unlimited potential, but now it is very restricted. So when the moonlight comes, then the consciousness blossoms, then we will be able to perceive many things. Okay. Now today, our expansion or restriction of consciousness depends on our attachments. For example, Let us take an example of Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was so much attached to Duryodhana that he could not even see the slightest distress for the Duryodhana. If Duryodhana is displeased by something, he wanted to do something so that Duryodhana can get pleased. Now, because of that, in the Gita Sandesha, Prabhuji has used a word that is called Putra Vyamoha. So Dhritarashtra has Putra Vyamoha, that is, he's so much fond and attached to his child that he doesn't care whether to please his child, something right is happening or wrong is happening. So Duryodhana, because of his own selfish desires, he had sent the Pandavas to exile for 13 years. He has dishonored their wife. He made them take away their kingdom in the gambling match, and he made them just, just very poor and hopeless. And they have gone to the forest. During all these incidents, there is nothing mentioned that Dhritarashtra was feeling pain. Have you ever heard that Dhritarashtra was feeling pain when the Pandavas are getting pain?
No.
No,
right?
Prabhuji. No.
So what happens is Dhritarashtra's consciousness is completely absorbed in his attachment, so much so that he is unable to experience any emotion towards other Pandavas. That means he is so much absorbed in his own emotions, own attachment, that he got desensitized to others' emotions. So in general, we will feel an emotion to other person if he is going through some pain or suffering. But Dhritarashtra was so attached that he could not feel any pain. Now, Pandavas are his brother's sons, but he is always having exclusive attachment to his own sons only. In the Bhagavad Gita 1.1 also, Dhritarashtra says, Mamakaha Pandavas Chaiva. That means what is happening between my son and Pandu's son. So generally in Kali Yuga, we have cousin system, but in the ancient time, in the Vedic culture, there is no word called as cousin. Everyone is our own only. So his brother's sons should also be considered as his own sons. And he is a king of Hastinapur. So a king should consider all his subjects as his own sons and daughters only. But Dhritarashtra was so blind with his attachment that his consciousness could give only experience of emotions related to Duryodhana, nothing related to anyone else. Similarly, in our life, we have so many attachments, right? And our consciousness is always absorbed in those attachments only, in those objects of attachments. For example, if someone is very alcoholic, what he will do? To just fulfill his desire for alcohol, he might steal money, he might abuse others, he might do anything and everything only to get that pleasure of having the alcohol. Sometimes the craving is so high, his consciousness is completely absorbed. Just, I want alcohol, that's it, no matter what happens. And until and unless he gets that, whatever is happening in that way, he's completely desensitized. Now, desensitized means he is not sensitive to any other emotion of any other people. He is only concerned about his own desire, and he wanted that. Similarly, we see that in our normal movies also. A villain can kill hero's mother, he can torture hero's sister, hero's family, all the villages, all the city and all. But when hero gets someone belong to the villain's family, how the villain changes? He'll suddenly become sober, isn't it? Do not kill my brother, do not kill my son, or do not harm my brother, or do not harm my family. Have you seen this scene?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So the person is brutal in killing others' family, but when it comes to his own family, he's very sober. So this is called as restricted consciousness. That means I am only concerned with all the emotions that is related to my own people, my own things, my own attachment. So when we chant the holy name, what will happen is our consciousness expands, right? Now we will not be only sensitive for our own attachments, but we will actually become sensitive to other living beings also. That is the reason, if we consider the case of Mrigari, there was a hunter who used to kill the animals to half. That means usko आधा ही मारेगा, and he will see them कि how वो तड़प तड़प के कैसे मरते, how they are tremble and die. That is his passion, and that he learned from his parents, that we will gonna kill the animals to half, and then rest of the half killing, you watch it till they die. So when Narada Muni comes and talks to Mrigari, and he says like, what will happen if you kill animals and if you do like this, then he will understand and he will stop doing that. That complete story I'll sometime explain you in the later classes. But the concept here is, through the Narada Muni's instruction, Mrigari starts chanting the holy name. And what happens is, after a few days, Narada Muni and his colleague, that is Parvata Muni, they both will come to see this Mrigari. And when we see the spiritual master, what we do?
We go
We bow.
blessings
We
of
pray
the
obeisances.
We offer obeisances, right? Dandavat pranam we do. So Mrigari comes running and he wanted to offer Dandavat pranam. But what happens is, in between, in that particular place, there will be so many ants. And what he tries to do is, he tries to sweep them away softly so that they can get away and they don't get hurt. Now, the person who was killing every animal and he was enjoying their death has suddenly become sensitive to even ants. He just don't want to trample them, or he just don't want to step onto them. So what happened? He had a restricted consciousness. He only knows like, okay, I have to kill them, I have to enjoy, I have to eat them. From there, he has become so sensitive that he started feeling the emotions for the ants also. And that's the transformation the holy name brings. So similarly, today, we do not have any connection with the Krishna at the emotional level. We have many connections and many more information on an intellectual level. Okay, we know Supreme Lord. When we take the darshan, sometimes we get amazing ecstatic feelings. Have you ever got, when we see the darshan or when we sit in a kirtan, some ecstatic feeling comes for a moment? Have anyone experienced?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Right. But once we go out of the temple, then we are on our own ways. We forget that. And
Yes,
even if
Prabhuji.
someone reminds about those kirtan and darshan, we might feel it in a minute magnitude, but we don't feel for much long time. So here Krishna is talking about, Lord Chaitanya is talking about how the holy name can actually expand our consciousness so that we can experience Krishna in a very strong emotion. When Lord Chaitanya hears Krishna or when he sees Jagannath, he actually have all the Ashtavikara, that ecstatic symptoms in his body. But we do not get that, isn't it? We don't get even a drop of water from our eyes. In Shikshashtaka, we talk about um, the verse where Chakshusha Pravrashaitam, that means I'm just going with the tears in my eyes only to have you. But when we hear all this acharyas and the great devotees talking about how they have ecstatic experience and ecstatic love for Krishna, they have the feeling of separation for Krishna, we actually feel very much impractical because we don't experience that. We never get tears in our eyes when we are chanting. We just chant and we have our own struggle with our own mind. We are not in an ecstatic emotion also. So what Lord Chaitanya says through this Shikshashtakam, this particular Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam, that when we chant the holy name, our consciousness expands so much so that we will start experiencing everything, every emotion in relationship with Krishna. So there are pure devotees who will see anything and everything and they have that connection with Krishna. When they see someone, oh, he's a part and parcel of Krishna, let me help him so that he can serve Krishna. They see a laptop, they will see like, oh, I can do some Gita Sandesh through this online program by using this laptop. When they see mobile, oh, I can use this to call devotees and encourage them to attend classes and take up Krishna consciousness. When he see flowers, oh, I can offer this flowers to Krishna. When he sees some nice jewelry and all, oh, I want to decorate them with on Krishna's body. So everything they see in Krishna and everything related to Krishna only. So today we have our own attachment. That is why our consciousness is very restricted. We don't feel anything. The selfishness is very high in us. But when we chant the holy name, what will happen is we will come out of our shell from being selfish. We will become selfless. In general, when we have any relationship, some or other way we have to come out of our selfishness. Let us say we have our wife or children or parents. Sometimes we do things, though we don't like them, but because they like it, we have to do. Are we doing it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Yes.
Right? So here, what is happening is a little degree of selflessness is there. Okay. Now, this is on a material level only. But when we chant the holy name, what will happen is the degree of selflessness will grow. So what will happen is we will not only do the things that others like, but our ultimate agenda will, let me do only the things that Krishna will like. Krishna will get pleased. Let me do the things where Krishna get pleased. And when Krishna is pleased, everyone will get pleased. So that kind of faith will develop, and that kind of consciousness we will have. And today we might have many problems with the countries, with the different caste system, with the different nationality and everything, because we are still attached with our own bodily conception only. This is me, this is mine, this is my country, this is my family, this is my toy, this is my money and everything. And we are insensitive or desensitized to others' emotions. But when we chant the holy name, when we grow in Krishna consciousness, we will see the oneness of everyone. Hey, he is also the part and parcel of Krishna only. I am also part and parcel of Krishna only. Why so many barriers are there? Today, the flower in our, the consciousness flower in our heart is not blossoming because we have so many barriers. And when we actually remove these barriers, what will happen is the moonlight will directly come onto us. And then we will have the expanded consciousness where we can see every living being as a brother and sister of ours only. Because everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. Aham bija pradapita. Krishna is the father of all. So why I should say that this is me and this is my family? The concept of Vasudeva Kutumbam is being spoken more, but on the consciousness level, we have Aham Mameti only, right? So when we chant the holy name, this flower, the consciousness of us will get so much expanded that we will consider everyone as our family. Just like Mrigari, who was killing the animals, has become so sober that he was not ready to harm the ants also. So similarly, when we actually chant our holy name with prayerful mood, attentively, and with the mood of like seeking Krishna's mercy, you know, Krishna, I have so many impurities, so many selfish things. I'm not able to think beyond my own self. Even while chanting also, I'm thinking about myself, my money, my job, my meeting, so many things. So I'm not thinking about you. So Krishna, give me the strength and give me your mercy so that I can think about you and I can get out of my own zone and try to serve you. You know, one time in Srila Prabhupada's lecture, a person asked, how I know that I am Krishna conscious? So there are many times this question being asked, and Prabhupada has given different answers. But in that particular lecture, Prabhupada wanted to give a different answer. So you wanted to know what answer he gave?
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So it's a very interesting answer. Srila Prabhupada says, if you are going to the temple and if you are looking at Krishna, then if you are feeling like Krishna is asking you, what are you doing for me? That means you are Krishna conscious. So here we are not asking something for Krishna, but Krishna is asking us what you are doing for me. If you are feeling like this, then you are Krishna conscious. Because Krishna consciousness is all about what we gonna offer to Krishna. It is not what we are going to get from Krishna. So when we see that Krishna is asking, what are you doing for me? That means we are conscious of Krishna. We are not conscious of us. So when we are conscious of Krishna, that is Krishna consciousness. If we are conscious of us, then that is not Krishna consciousness. That is me consciousness, I consciousness, isn't it? Or Maya consciousness. So Prabhupada has given this wonderful answer. So anytime if you go to the temple and if you see Krishna, and if you feel like Krishna is asking, what are you doing for me? Then it is a short answer that you are Krishna conscious. Anything else Krishna is asking or you asking to Krishna, that means you are not yet reached to that optimum level of Krishna consciousness. So this is the basic meaning of Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. So Kairava is the lotus flower and Shreya is the long-term good. So this blossoming is not happening for a short term. It is happening for a long term. And then what is Chandrika, that is moonlight. So chanting is the moonlight which will blossom our consciousness, that is Kairava. And for short time, no, it is for long time good, that is Shreyaha. So Shreyaha Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. So this is little bit about the verse. So any comments or concerns or questions around this?
Beautifully explained, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Clearly explained, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Saitram Prabhu.
Amazing, Prabhuji.
Hare
Amazing
Krishna,
explanation.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Can I
Krishna.
ask a question, please?
Yes, Mataji, you can go ahead.
Now, see, even you can consider that the moonlight that is being given is that you're coming out of the darkness that you were in earlier by chanting their holy name, and you're coming closer and closer to the Lord. So
Yes.
moonlight can be considered as the brightness that is being, not the
No.
bright, I mean the brightness within your consciousness I'm talking about, which is making it more closer to the Lord.
Okay,
That's
so
what
it is, yeah.
That's what I try to understand. That's what I'm trying to ask you if I'm wrong in understanding that.
No, it's not about the brightness. Generally, when we use the metaphor of sun for Krishna, it is about the brightness. He is actually dispelling the darkness of ignorance.
Okay.
So in this, what happens is the Kairava, that is the white lotus, needs moonlight to blossom.
Okay.
Okay, so that blossom is not depend on the brightness.
Okay.
Even if you put a different artificial light, it won't blossom.
Oh.
It need only moonlight.
Moonlight.
So
Okay.
in this context, we are talking about moonlight as a context where it is helping us to grow or blossom.
Okay.
And
Now
when
I
we use the sun,
Okay.
that is darkness.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, anyone else has a question or a concern or a comment? Yeah.
Sorry, Prabhu, I muted few devotees because some disturbance was coming.
Yeah,
If they
yeah.
want to have any question, like
They can
they
unmute
can
and
unmute
ask.
and they can ask questions one by one, please, because it's getting little disturbance. Prabhu.
Yeah, Anuradha Mataji, you asked yesterday about whether we'll have Shikshashtam class. So please share if you have anything to share, how it was. And
You explained it very beautifully, Prabhuji. In fact, I was so excited about the Shikshashtakam since last 1 week. I couldn't attend the last Sunday's class, so I heard the recording on Monday. And I have been telling everybody at home also that Geeta Sadhaka class, they have started Shikshashtakam. And I was really excited. And I feel I can feel the nectar of the Shikshashtakam actually here. Because I have been reciting Shikshashtakam since many years, honestly, but the nectar was always missing. I heard the explanation of Shikshashtakam from various people, but it was in a lot of bits and pieces. So here it is structured because we are covering one sentence at a time. So
one sentence.
I can feel that nectar of Shikshashtakam here.
Thank you so
You
much,
explained
Mataji.
it beautifully, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji expressed on behalf of us so perfectly. It's real very beautiful explanation, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Sharda Mataji. Any questions on this particular topic? Because this is little technical, so I thought you might have any question. If it is clear, then absolutely fine.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Om Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Please tell
Prabhuji,
me.
I have a request. Actually, I just joined the class. I had my
Okay.
vaccination today, so I couldn't. I missed
Congratulations.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, can I get the recording of this class?
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji. Every class recording you will get. Once the class is done, after some time it gets loaded. Then I'll share the link. All
Okay,
the
Prabhuji.
classes links I'm putting in a single message, so you can access all them. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, can I ask one question?
Yes, Krishna Rao Prabhuji, please ask.
When you told that when we go to temple and see the idol of Krishna, if Krishna asks that what I'm doing for him, then that is real Krishna consciousness. But to reach that stage is very, very difficult for any of us.
Yeah, it is difficult. So it is a quality check, Prabhuji. It is not that we will all have this feeling or this question from Krishna right now, but when we chant the holy name, we will ultimately reach to that stage where Krishna will be asking, what are you doing? And we will be able to share also what we are doing. So
That
it is a,
means, in that Hare Ram Hare Krishna mantra,
Hmm.
we get immersed in that. Hare Rama.
yeah,
And only we can
exactly.
point.
Similarly, exactly. So
Thank
that
you.
is what we have to do. We have to get absorbed in it. So sometimes what happens is we don't know what we are doing. We don't know what will happen with what we are doing. So, and we have a very much of material consciousness. Today, will you do anything for free?
No.
Without thinking. So much analysis we do. Even someone wanted to give free, we will check 10 times whether damage piece to nahi hai na. So that much conscious we are that we even the free thing is given, we want it perfect. So similarly, when we are chanting, if we don't know the science behind it and the benefit that it gonna give us, then we will not be enthusiastic. That is why in one of the do's and don'ts, I have shared that before you start chanting, try to read something about the holy name, why we are chanting and what is the importance of holy name. Then our mind will get little satisfaction, like, this is for profit only we are doing. Otherwise, mind will see like, itne dinon se chanting kar rahe, kya fayda hua? So mind will ask this questions. From so many days you are chanting, what change has happened? Nothing has happened. Why you have to chant today again? So when we have this information, how this chanting will actually transform our consciousness, then we will have an answer to give to our mind. This gonna happen if you shut up and let me chant. So that we can say to our mind.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So nice. So nice of you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yes, if anyone has no question, then we can go for the other 2-3 words. Or else,
Prabhuji,
yes,
I just
Mataji.
wanted to share one thing. I just wanted to tell my mind to stop your chatter. Only I am chanting mainly
Yeah,
to stop this mind
you have to.
because it is not letting us do
No,
the chanting. It is
yeah.
like kind of disturbing us always.
See, basically, there is a science behind that also. Why mind always chatters? You want to know that?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes.
So generally, we are coming from an animal species. Okay, so for many lifetimes, we being animals, and whatever impressions we have in animal life, that will also come because our subtle body is not changing. No, when we are dying, our only gross body is left behind. The subtle body, mind, intelligence, ego is coming along with the soul. So in that, there are so many impressions. So when we are animals, the life is very dynamic and very every moment there is a danger. Like a deer is drinking water, we don't know from where the tiger will jump on us, lion will jump on us and take away our life. So we have to be always very alert. So we cannot have any changes just like that, because any change is considered as a threat. So what will happen is, when we become humans also, it will become a very difficult task for us to believe anyone, to have faith in anything, because that is the survival mechanism of the mind. Anything if you introduce new to the mind, it will try to divert that or convert that into its own thing, or it wanted to avoid, because for it, it is a threat. So today I'm in this particular zone, any change can become a threat. So that is the impression that we are carrying from many lifetimes. That is why today we will see, like, we feel like there is no one like trustworthy. किसी के ऊपर भरोसा नहीं कर सकते. Everyone is unfaithful. Everyone is not trustworthy. I cannot believe anyone. I cannot rely on anyone. And in general, people will do like that also, and that will add to our own belief system in a more bigger way. And that is why today, the one of the reason why we have more anxiety is because we don't have anyone to believe on. किसी के बारे में हम ऐसा सोच नहीं सकते कि where we can get a relief. We cannot think of one person that by thinking him we will get relaxation. We will always get anxiety only. We think about someone we love, we will get anxiety. What will happen to them? We think about enemies, then we will think, oh, what he will do to me. Somewhere or other way, we are full in anxiety only. So our mind has impressions, And like our mind has impressions, everyone's mind has impression. So no one is billing no one. So when there is no faith, then when there is no trust in relationships, when there are no relaxing relationships, nurturing relationships, what will happen? Anxiety will be always there. And with that kind of anxiety, the mind has to maintain its own survival mechanism. So even if you introduce chanting of the holy name, still it won't consider it as a safety guard or something safe. It will always consider it as a threat only. Because when you chant, you might give up non-veg. When you chant, you might give up alcohol. And when you chant, when you might give up so many bad habits. So all those habits were giving some pleasure to the mind till this time. So when you chant, when you give up, so what is happening? There is some change is happening in its routine. So whatever change is there, what is the first sign it will get? It will get it as a threat. So that is the reason mind will continuously chatter. It will ask you not to do, not to do, not to do.
Will it not be able to figure out what is a good change, Prabhuji? Because
Yeah.
these are all good, right? It's like,
So you give the proofs, no? Someone asks you why you are chanting. Do you think he will get convinced because we have to chant? That is why I'm chanting. If you give this answer, will he get convinced?
no, Prabhuji.
He'll ask why you are chanting. What is the science behind it? Okay, who told you to chant? Why you believe that person? Is he chanting? How many rounds he is chanting? Does he done any good in his life by chanting? So many proofs and evidences, so many reasons it want. After that only, the person will get convinced. So a person may not have intimate relationship with us always. So if with 10 answers, he might get convinced. But our mind is there from many lifetimes. So to convince that, little knowledge is not enough. Why we are, see, basically for a Gita sadhaka, talking about Shikshashtaka may not be a subject. But somehow I felt like if we want to increase our knowledge about chanting, the taste in chanting, the interest in chanting, we should know what we are chanting and the science behind that. That is why I have taken this topic. So when we have more knowledge about why we are chanting, what will happen if we do the chanting, then what will happen is we will have strong intellectual background to counter our mind. And like outside person may get convinced with 10 answers, our mind will may take 10 million answers or 10 billion answers. We don't know. Depends on the impressions that it has. So that is the reason it won't stop chattering. And every time you have to give a logical reason also, and you have to shout also. Like sometimes to our kids, we will explain them why something is not good for them. But if they are too much stubborn, then we will shout at them or we'll try to punish them. So similarly with our mind, if it is okay with the logic, okay. If it is not listening, then we have to shout and tell, just shut up, let me do. So like this, it happens.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Pooja Kumari Mataji has a question. Sometimes we know chanting is important and its power, but still will fail. Why it is so? Because we are not habituated till now. See, how many of you do morning jogging? Raise your hands who are going for morning jog or morning walk. No hands raised. Any comments? 36 people we are there.
Only one.
Okay, one
Yes,
person.
I go, Prabhuji. This is Lata.
Lata, okay. Lata Mataji and Sureshwar Behra Prabhuji and Leela Shri Mataji. So 36 people we are there now. Only 3 people are going for a morning walk. Out of this, yeah,
Sir,
out of, yeah.
I do yoga in the morning.
Morning yoga also, very nice. So out of all these 36 people, how many of you will disagree with this statement? Morning walk and yoga, doing yoga in the morning is good for health. How many of you will disagree? No one is going to disagree. Every one of us know that it is important, it is healthy. But why we are not doing then?
Due to lack
Laziness.
of time sometimes.
I
Some
do
or-
yoga, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So some or other reason is there, no? For not doing. Maybe our sleeping habits are not proper, or somewhere we are lazy or lethargic, or we are not interested in that. Some or other way, or our office schedule or busy works. So many things are there which are coming in between. So it doesn't mean that once we know that it is important, we're going to do it, right? So sometimes we do the things when we know how important they are more and more and more. Today, we might have this much of knowledge about how important chanting is. But when we have this much of knowledge, how important is the chanting, we will definitely do it and mind will not disturb as it is disturbing right now. The degree of disturbance will come down. So similarly, I'll give you a demo. Let us say tomorrow we are going for a checkup with a complete body checkup. And all of us have got one common disease. That is, we all are having very high cholesterol. And doctor has suggested that from the next day, that is from day after tomorrow, if you don't start walking in the morning, then you might get a cardiac arrest in maybe 6 months or 1 year down the line. How many of us will start doing the walk?
Everyone will start, Prabhuji.
So what has happened? What is the difference?
We got to know the importance.
Yes, we got to know the importance more and more. Earlier, I know that it is good for health, but now I have understood that it is my life and soul. If I want to survive, I have to do it. So similarly, when we know about chanting initially, we know that it is as a good thing, and someone has told us, Shastras are telling, and the mentors are telling, so let me do it. But over a period of time, we will understand that, all that what we have in our life is the chanting only. So my life and soul is chanting. If when I understand this, then I don't need anyone to inspire me or motivate me or wake me up or to push me to do chanting. I will do on my own because I have understood the importance completely. So similarly, today our understanding about the importance is very little, very limited. That is the reason we keep postponing. And it doesn't mean that I'm talking so much today. I do 64 rounds every day, or I wake up every day morning. I do all the standards of bhakti. But only difference is I have little more knowledge about the importance of the chanting. And that is the reason my quality of chanting may be little bit better than you. So similarly, when we grow, when we discuss all these things, when we have this question and answers, when we talk more on chanting, what will happen over a period of time, we will get the complete understanding, like, chanting is the only thing that will take me to Goloka. Prabhupada always says that, chant Hare Krishna, be happy. But we are chanting Hare Krishna, but we are not happy. We are struggling. Sometimes I complete my 16 rounds at the late night. And once I complete the 16th round, my mind will say, Chalo, aaj ka to ho gaya. What about tomorrow? That means mind will get a feeling like, oh, tomorrow, one more day of struggle of chanting 16 rounds. So what is happening? We are not happy after chanting. We are actually struggling during the chanting, before chanting, after chanting also. So what is happening is our understanding about chanting is not complete. We are still thinking is that as a ritual only or some instruction only. We are not thinking like, this is my time with Krishna. I might spend time with anyone and do anything, but this is the time for Krishna exclusively. And Acharya says that Anandambudhi Vardhanam, the nectar will increase. I will get the taste. This is the most beautiful, sweetest thing, nectarine thing, but I still taste it very bad only. So this is a gradual improvement. Today we will have all the negative things only. Like once we go further into the Shikshashtakam, we will understand how from poison we will go to nectar. Okay, so I don't know where I began, why I began this topic. Somehow, was it good?
Chanting. Hi, Prabhuji. We got many useful information. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, Pooja Kumari Mataji asked a question. Yeah, that's why we started. So that is the thing. Now it is 9:04. What we will do is, if we have any questions, we will take the next part of the Shikshashtakam, we'll take on next week. So officially we are done for today. I don't want to extend it today furthermore. But if you have questions, then I'm ready to answer them.
Krishna Rao Prabhu raised his hand, Prabhu.
Yes, Krishna Rao Prabhuji, you have any question?
No, not right now. No
Okay,
question. No.
Prabhuji. Okay, I'll lower your hand. Okay. Sushmi Shri Mataji Prabhuji, can you please tell importance of fasting? Okay. Fasting, Mataji, I have shared an audio also of Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji on fasting, but in a brief, I will also share why we have to do fasting. So when we fast, this is called as voluntary inconvenience. That is, no one is asking us to fast and no one will charge a fine, or no one will come to us and say that, hey, you are not fasting, you have to pay 1,000 rupees fine, or you will go to jail, or you will not be given food for the next 3 days. No other condition like this. Voluntarily, we are accepting to take our body away from the food. Now, why we are doing it? Because this will actually increase our faith that all that food that we are eating every day is not the life and soul. There is something which is beyond this, which is actually maintaining our body. So our knowledge will increase that I thought I am just depend on the food, but even without taking food also I can survive for some time. And this will actually increase our consciousness in a direction where we feel like, so much importance I give for the food, and so much time goes in just preparing the food and eating it and digesting it. And so many things are coming and going, but that is not all important in our life. So this is one thing. And second is, when you are hungry, your mind will torment you like anything. Nothing will come into your mind except food. When you're too much hungry, you will not think about your money problem or relationship problem or any other problem. You'll think about only what can I eat, where can I eat, how can I satisfy my hunger. So there was one of the speaker who says, human beings have only one problem, that is hunger. And all the other problems they have only when their stomach is full. You
Very
understood?
true, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes.
So today, if in Western country, many people have, they say at least out of 10 people, 6 people are going to a psychologist or a therapist for their mental issues. I'm not sure about this survey report, the outcomes, whether 6 or 7, but there are many people. And in last 50 to 100 years, the psychological problems in our world has increased many times. Earlier, we had only Ayurvedic doctors, but today we have so many psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, mental health counselors, so many things, right? Why it is happening? Because our stomach is full. You will never see any person in a therapist office or a clinic who has a hunger problem or who has money problem where he has no money to eat or no shelter and like that. All those people who go, they have a problem that I have everything, still I'm not happy. And I have this relationship problem, this crisis, this conflicts, that, many other things. So what is happening is our main agenda is to fulfill our stomach and get the energy so that we can do bhakti. But what happens is once our stomach is full, we'll start thinking about so many other things. So here, when we are fasting, our hunger is there. It is trying to say so many things, eat this, eat that and all. But you are telling to your mind, I am fasting today. This is the favorite day of Krishna. So I want to please him. So this day I will not take grains. So here what we are showing is we are interested in Krishna more than food. So first thing is our consciousness has elevated by thinking food is not everything or all important. Second is we are showing our sincerity towards Krishna. And the third thing is there are so many benefits spiritually when we fast on Ekadashi, because there is a Papa Purusha who actually sits in the grains on the Ekadashi. So
Yeah.
because of that, we actually avoid grains. So when we eat the grains on the Ekadashi, when Papa Purusha is already there, already we have so many papas in our mind. So we have so many plans how we can be sinful. So when we are eating grains, what will happen is our papas will get bonus, right? They are getting increased more and more. So what we are doing is already we are fighting with our impurities, with our anarthas and so many things. Already our lust, anger, greed, envy is not going down. So by eating grains on Ekadashi, we are actually aggravating our own disease. So this is one of the reason. And Krishna grants unlimited benefits on the Ekadashi. If you read the every Ekadashi explanation or any fasting explanation, it says like you might get so many benefits that you might not get by performing 1000 Ashwamedha Yajna or 1000 Vajpayee Yajna or so many different yajnas. So Ekadashi is that special day. To come to know about Ekadashi is also a very fortunate thing. There are many people in the world who doesn't know why people do Ekadashi and what is Ekadashi. The 365 days they eat, and even scientifically it is being studied and have good positive conclusions that if we fast twice in a month, we can avoid cancer also, because cancer cells will actually not get food, though they starve, and that is why they will die. Maybe doctors in the group can give more inputs about it. So that is the reason why we fast. So there are spiritual benefits, material benefits, mental benefits, so many other benefits. And every Ekadashi, when you do it, the degree of mental tormentation will come down. So because I started doing it almost in 2019, the first Ekadashi which I did. So after that, now when Ekadashi comes, I'm not much concerned about it. My concern now is, I'm not doing 25 rounds, I'm only doing 16 rounds. Earlier it was like, when I will have food, oh, I want to eat that, I want to eat this and all. But now our concern is changed. I'm not chanting extra rounds on the Ekadashi. So our consciousness is slowly elevating, and it is going away from the food and going towards Krishna. So this fasting will have so many benefits. You will realize on your own when you keep doing them. So does this answer your question, Mataji?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Seema here.
Yes, Seema Mataji.
What I felt is when we chant empty stomach, the concentration will be more.
Yeah.
So if we chant after a breakfast or lunch, will not. I'll not feel like chanting.
Yeah.
The drowsiness will come. So this is
Welcome.
also a benefit. Like on Ekadashi day, when we are fasting, we can do more rounds of chanting.
Yes. And actually,
that is also the benefit.
Yeah, and by fasting, it is not like, you are just fasting doing nothing, then you will go mad. You have to get busy in some service, either chanting or reading books or doing some seva in temple or something. If you engage your mind somewhere in the service of Krishna, then it won't torment. But if you are simply sitting, like it happens, you test on yourself. Do an Ekadashi, sit at home, and do an Ekadashi, spend time in temple. You'll find a great difference. Like on Janmashtami, I did Nirjal till 10:30. In general, doing Nirjal is impossible for me. But on that day,
PM
10:30 p.m. 10:30 p.m. Okay. So after that whole day, I didn't feel like, when we are in Seva, the lemon juice was coming, the devotees were giving bananas and apples and all. I didn't feel any need for it. Even after 10:30, I broke because after 12, we're going to have prasadam. And if we have direct food in our empty stomach, then it will be a problem. So that is the reason I took. After taking that, I have not felt any need also. And one more thing is, when I was taking, while breaking the fast by taking lemon juice, that lemon juice tasted like something spiritual. It is like nectarian. One thing is, it is spiritual only because Radharani makes it. When we offer to Krishna, it actually goes to Radharani and then it goes to Krishna. So that is one reason. Second is, we are hungry and we have not tasted anything from last 12 hours, 13 hours. So it will feel nectarian. So sometimes our value for food and so many varieties of food that we have, we are affordable to eat, that kind of consciousness also will get. So we can become more compassionate. There are many people out of 20 or 10, out of 9, one person goes hungry stomach to sleep every day in this world. Out of 9, one person goes to bed with empty stomach. That means there are many people who don't have food to eat 3 times. And today we have that opportunity to eat. So sometimes when we do fasting, actually so many realizations will come. We become compassionate towards others. We will feel the importance of hunger and the blessing that we have. At least we might have thousands of problems outside, but at least we have food to eat. So that is also a great thing. So many things you will learn when you do fasting.
Prabhuji, do we have to do kirtan at night on Ekadashi day? We should not sleep the entire
That
night.
is the standard, Mataji. But if you don't have an association, then you will not do kirtan, and
I'm all
your mind
alone.
won't. Yeah, if you are alone, no devotees around, then it's better to sleep rather than waking up, because our mind will not make us sit properly. It will say like, okay, you watch a movie or you think about that person who has insulted you 3 years back. So many things will come in our mind. So it's better to sleep if you don't have an association.
I
That
don't
is the
want. I
standard.
have stopped watching movies. So
Yeah, I'm just giving an example.
yes.
That happens with me.
So that is a compulsion, or can we skip that? I just want to know.
No, there are, see, in bhakti, there will be standards and there will be preferences. So standard is you should chant 64 rounds, you should have nirjala, you should wake up whole night and you should do kirtan. This is the standard. But if our capacity is not there to do all this, then we should do what is bare minimum. And then slowly we can increase. Like if you, in future, if you have an association, you can spend whole night chanting. Some devotees do it, but it is not recommended if you are alone or if you don't have an association who can support us. In our house, sometimes when we do fasting, people will curse us. Why you are spoiling your health? So if you are doing
No,
jagran and doing
they
kirtan,
are not accepting that we should not eat grains on that day, because we were not habituated earlier.
Yeah.
Since I came to know about Ekadashi, I have started fasting.
yes,
We used to have non-veg also on Ekadashi earlier.
we all, you know, my marriage happened on Pandava Nirjala Ekadashi in 2011. So that means I have broke everyone's fast by inviting them. So, so this is the thing if we don't know. So
we can do it, right? Like just chanting, breathing, and we can sleep at night.
yes,
That's
yes.
what. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, why did Lord Sri Krishna has done Mahabharatam? Because why Lord Sri Krishna did not change? Because he's a supreme personality, you know, even Maya. So why didn't change Duryodhana and his brothers and Dhritarashtra, Shakuni and other people?
Yeah. So that's a beautiful question you have asked. Many people have this question, but only some will ask why Krishna could not change everything. You know, even Kunti Maharani or Gandhari asked Krishna that you could have. No, I think Draupadi asked. Like,
No,
you know,
Prabhuji, I guess it is Gandhari Mataji asked Hare Krishna at the last.
Yeah, sometimes I have seen in Mahabharat serial where Draupadi asked. So it may be, it can be a difference of kalpa also. In one Mahabharat, she might have asked. In another Mahabharat, other one has asked. But the point is, they ask, Krishna, you are the supreme, you know the future, past, present, and everything. Why you have not avoided this war? So actually, we have to understand one thing, that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He can have everything that he wants, but he cannot have one thing. What is that? You tell me.
To change one's karma.
He can change it.
We going to Krishna with the pure heart.
Yeah, so close to the answer.
We cannot force devotees to come
Yeah.
towards him.
Yeah. So in one line, Krishna can have everything in this world and everywhere, but Krishna cannot have our heart without our approval.
Yeah.
So all he wants is our heart. Generally, when we donate money or do some seva, actually that money and seva, he can get it done from somewhere else also. If you see, many times we don't go for seva, many times we don't do charity, many times we don't do donation to the temples. But is any festival or any work is getting obstructed because we are not donating?
No, Prabhuji.
Nothing, everything goes on smoothly and successfully. Krishna doesn't need all this, but Krishna has given all this opportunity so that our heart can become pure. So our journey will begin like this. First, we don't want to give anything to Krishna. In the middle stage, what will happen is we cannot give our heart to Krishna, but we will try to give what is in our heart to Krishna. That means we might like something, but we are trying to give up. Like some people might like non-veg, but they're trying to give up non-veg because they want to practice bhakti nicely and they don't want to displease Krishna by killing an animal and all. So what is happening is in your heart, some liking is there, you are giving up that. So this is the process. Slowly you are started giving up so many things what are there in your heart, and you have started taking some things in your heart which pleases Krishna. So what is happening is, over a period of time, when you do a donation, when you do seva, the heart purification is happening. So the heart is like this, facing you, but slowly you're turning towards the face of Krishna. So that's where over a period of time, Krishna can have our heart. In one of the videos I shared, that Amarendra Prabhuji says, when our heart becomes as soft as butter and as pure as the white color of the butter, then Krishna will steals that. That is the Makhanchor Leela. Krishna wants to steal
Chittachor,
our
yeah.
heart. Okay. So that is the reason Krishna doesn't interfere into our free will. He can create so many opportunities. Actually, Krishna went to Duryodhana as a Shanti Dut, but there Duryodhana has not accepted, and Krishna cannot interfere into Duryodhana's free will, right? So similarly, when Krishna, Arjuna and Duryodhana went to ask support from Krishna, so Krishna said, me and my army will not fight on the same side. So someone has to choose me and someone has to choose the army. So what Duryodhana chooses? He chooses the Narayani Sena. And Arjuna chooses Krishna. So never Krishna interferes in our free will. That is the reason Krishna has to orchestrate his plan even when our free will actually deviates his plan. So it is being said that our mistake is not Krishna's will. Sometimes people will take it in a very simplified way. They say like, जो भी करवाता है भगवान ही करवाता है ना, तो ये मेरी हाथ से गलती हो गई तो भगवान ने ही करवाई होगी. So God only makes everything happen. So my mistakes are also must be God's will, right? So our mistakes are not God's will, but our mistakes can also get accommodated in God's will. That means just like, this GPS we have. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So it says go straight for 500 meters. And then it says take left. And then what we do is, in a confusion, we take right. So what it will say?
It will correct
Reroute. It will reroute.
Reroute, right? It won't say you are a stupid, why you are using GPS if you cannot take a left when I say left. It won't say anything. What it will do? It will reroute. So similarly, God is like a great GPS system. Okay. He knows that we have to come to spiritual world. So what happens when we take a wrong turn? The time increases. 10 minutes to destination. When we take a wrong turn, what will happen? 15 minutes to destination or 1 hour to destination. So it depends on the city and road. So what is happening is, when we actually don't listen to the GPS, it is not that we will lose the track or God will lose the track, but only that our time to reach the destination is increasing. So similarly, Lord knows that we have to come back to spiritual world. He knows that. But he also given this straightforward plan. But if we are not willing to execute that, what will happen? He'll always reroute. So similarly, the adharma has propagated, but he cannot let it propagate just like that. So that is why he comes and takes the side of Arjuna and makes the Pandavas win, and he establishes dharma. So every time he gives the principles to follow dharma, but whenever adharma propagates, he comes and establishes dharma, right? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So he actually gives us free will, and he also manages the whole show. That is the reason he cannot avoid Mahabharata. And these are all pastimes will give us the knowledge. So these leelas are performed to guide us. What should be done, what should not be done.
Prabhuji, one more doubt.
Yeah. This doubt is clear, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, then we'll go to the next.
Prabhuji, why after this, after knowing that I can't stop Mahabharatam, why did Sri Krishna do Mahabharatam within a day? Why 18 days?
This war, huh?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So every day something happens, no? Actually, in every moment, some change happens. See, when he says, I will not interfere in your free will, then if it is 180 days or 1800 days or 1 day also, he should not interfere, no?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So it is like partial interference also he will not do. He will say, you are completely free. So this little independent, and this is called love. When we love someone, we don't force them. We give them freedom to choose us. Right? That is why when you are proposing someone, you should give them a choice whether to choose us or not. You cannot say like, put a gun and say that you have to love me only. Then they cannot love you. Even if they love you, that is not love, that is out of fear. Isn't it? So Krishna also doesn't force us anything. He will say, okay, you want to do all miscreant activities, do it. But nothing
Prabhuji,
goes
I
out of
have
the
a
plan.
question.
Yes, Mataji. Leelashri
Uh,
Mataji, your question is answered?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
I don't know in little mind how many questions you will get. I
Good.
never had in your age all these questions. Yes, Yashaswini Ramataji.
Prabhuji, my question is that after the war, the Yadavas were cursed by Gandhari Mataji.
Yes, yes.
They don't interfere in war, but why did they curse?
Okay. So there is question number 118, which 2 days or 3 days back, Leelashri Mataji asked the same. So I'll share the same answer with you, Mataji, on WhatsApp. Is it okay?
Okay,
If
ma'am.
everyone want this
Okay,
answer also, it is given in very detailed way for the question number 118 in the section 2 or section 2. Yeah, section 3 in the Q&A document. Yashaswini Rao Mataji, have I shared with you the Q&A document, the edition 2.0?
No, Prabhuji, I did not get any.
Okay, you are not in the Gita Sadhaka or Gita Sadhaka English 2 group?
Yeah, I'm in the group.
There I have shared. Today I will share again.
Okay, I will check it.
Yeah, sure, Mataji. So there very detailed way I have given. So you can have this.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. So I have shared again in the group.
Prabhuji, can you just display the Shikshashtaka page? I just need to note down.
I'll
Once.
share that. I already shared. Who is talking?
Seema.
Okay, Seema Mataji, I have shared the whole Shikshashtakam with the audio in the group.
Audio. Okay.
The audio also and the script also with the meaning also. All the 8 texts.
Last week.
Yeah, last week. I have
Okay,
shared
I'll
the
check.
Tulsi Pranama Mantra. I have shared
Yeah,
the
that I have checked, but I haven't checked
same.
that.
Yeah,
All right,
there.
sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.